So welcome all the participants for the third session. This session will be handled by again by Dr. S. Rajarajan, the Sagra Minister of Technology. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I will handle. I'll start. My screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I can start now. Good afternoon to all. One second. Once again, welcome back to the second session of this packet capturing session. I hope at least a few of you have installed the Wireshark. This is the normal screen of your Wireshark. Normally, it will not come into full screen. Normally, the screen will be only this much. In the beginning, what you have to do is go to capture. This is a menu item I show here now. Go to capture and interfaces. Capture the interfaces. The interfaces means otherwise you can straight away you can press Control I. The thing is the internet may be connected or your system may be connected to the internet or any other local area networks. In different one second. Sorry, there is a call from principal. Okay. I resume the session. From the interfaces, we can watch or capture the data packets through the different kind of network. It may be through the Ethernet. Your internet may be connected through your Ethernet port, or your Wi-Fi may be giving the connection to your system, or any other means like infrared or any other frame, whatever may be the connectivity. All the interfaces can be, but you should select what type of interfaces you have to select. If it is, suppose we want to capture the data in your Wi-Fi network, normally in the IoT devices, the devices will be speaking each other through the Wi-Fi mode only or the wireless mode only. In that case, you have to use the Wi-Fi network. This is what the basic mechanism to capture the data packets. So then after selecting the interfaces, you can press the start menu item. There is a item shown in this screen itself, start menu item, Control E. Start menu item. So suppose once if you start the screen, once if you start this capturing, normally what will happen is it will give lot of interfaces. Say look at the screen now. This is the screen with the full details, the timestamp, source address, destination IP address, what type of protocol this is looking, and info. All these details will be given. So the top module is actually called as packet list. So the different protocols are involved in this particular communication, or we can call it as connectivity. ICMP, there are many items, gray colored, or I can say lavender colored items are ICMP protocol. cyan color items are SNMP protocols, and UDP is also there, ARP is also there. So this is what at that particular instant when you press the capture, this many number of data packets are going both way. It may be to the system or from the system. The packets are shown here. Then the packet details. Then if you press any one item, any one data packet, you can get all these items shown in the second half of the screen. I mean the packet details. Here you can see what type of protocol it is. Say the connectivity is Ethernet connectivity. As I told you already, this address is MAC address, source IP, destination IP, UDP protocol, source port, and normally FTP protocol, so port number is 21. Like this UDP also, but UDP for different services it assigns a different port, and length, checksum, everything it will be showing, and the packet bytes are shown here. These are all different bytes within the data packet. So these are all total packet. The first list is packet list. Next is we are selecting a single packet, and the third is within that packet what are all the data available. This is what we can see using this particular screen. This is very simple interface. We can even within an hour you can easily customize. I mean you can easily train yourself to use this tool very clearly. If you use for 1 week, you can be a master in this particular tool. Then you can start doing the work, or you can start wandering the world, because that many number of options are here. This is what the next slide. Normally in the mobile phones, the signal strength is shown as a bar. A bar chart will be shown a small tower, and next one is bigger, next one is bigger, something like this. All of you know the mic in our mobile phones, the signal levels are shown as the bar. Whereas here we can very exactly we can get the details of the received signal strength indication, which is known as technically RSSI. The first green color, red color bar is shown here. See RSSI. And link speed, everything we can. This is the parameters of the particular W wireless local area network. And this is according to IEEE. The standard is 802.11. All of you know this. Ethernet standard is 802.3, and 15 is for Bluetooth. All these connectivities are can be monitored by using this tool. And all other remaining, suppose if you want to identify SSID, MAC address, vendor, privacy, everything we can easily visualize. So this is normally used in the cyber security people. Normally this tool is much familiar among cyber security people. I mean the cybercrime police, they are normally using these kind of softwares only. Especially they are using this also, since it is a open source software. They used to have this kind of the same software, software to identify the cyber crimes. Suppose any malfunctioning softwares or malfunctioning transactions are happening in the banking domain, they are using this kind of softwares only. Right. Next, I move on to this HTTP. So far we have seen many number of protocols can be monitored. The data captured by using different what we call the protocols. Now the first example is HTTP. In HTTP is normally called as a session opened or a session closed. Normally all of you know this. Whenever you open a session in your browser, a single tap. Suppose I am going to browse the website IRCTC. IRCTC is the application. In the IRCTC, how we have many number of, so a particular session for this particular browser is opened. So session ID is, we can call it as cookies. The cookies must be maintained. So you, without any interruption, to maintain the connectivity. Suppose if there is any problem in the cookies, or if you are not recording the cookies, the connectivity will be reset. Normally, this is what happened in the HTTPS mode, security mode. Normally, HTTPS used in our banking domain. In this particular screen, we are taking the synchronous. This diagram is very familiar among the staff members, those who are taking what we call the computer networks. Synchronous and acknowledgement. This is normally called as This is very familiar diagram. This is actually called as three-way handshake. This is very familiar diagram in computer networks. If you look at this particular screen, and the first one is sync. SYN is available here, where my cursor is at present available. HTTP sync. This is our first one. Next is acknowledgement along with the sync will be given back to the server or to the client. The leftmost, if you take, this is a client, this is the right side is server, and the Volta also true. And acknowledgement is given back. So if the synchronization acknowledgement and the return acknowledgement is, since these two are cleared, then the session will be opened. This is the basic process of TCP connectivity. Once the connection is opened, it will be retained for the entire transaction. That is why we call this software, this HTTP protocol. Again, it's depending on your type of transport, underlying transport layer. Normally, this is connection oriented. And all the details, the packet details and the data byte details, everything we can see here in the lower portion of this screen. This is a HTTP session. Number two, for this we can draw the flow graph also. For particular data packets, we can see the flow graph also. This is the screenshot taken for flow graph. So when you do this, see, this is, we can identify in the one by one, step by step. Synchronous is a signal is sent by this transmitter, and the synchronous acknowledgement is given in by the remote user or remote client. Again, we are sending the acknowledgement. Once these three processes are back and forth, it's completed. This is called a session opened. Once the session is opened, the regular transmission must occur. The regular transaction between the two nodes must be occurring. So here, all of you know this, the timeout period and all these things. Once the transmission is occurred, it should be acknowledged properly by this remote server or remote client. If it is not acknowledged within the time limit, we can say this time limit is called as timeout period. When the timeout period is exceeded, automatically retransmission will be happening. See, look at this TCP. We are tracking only the TCP now, because only in the TCP the connection oriented, since it is a connection oriented protocol. Once the acknowledgement is given, it will return back and forth to the communication. So retransmission, everything. If you look at this, see this balloon, retransmissions are given here. Duplicate acknowledgement is coming and previous segment is lost, so that we can understand we have to retransmit the same data packet again in the network. Very simply. So whenever is how we can use this in our system to find out there is any problem in that. So whenever we send the data packets, so we have to send the pilot data packet. Whenever we send any pilot data packet, the data packet must contain only this whatever we have sent, because we know, we being the user, we are sending the data packets for the troubleshooting purpose. So we should know the content, what are all the contents we are sending across the network. Now, by using this software, we are finding out what are all going from our system. We are sending X. Only X must be transmitted to the network. Suppose by capturing the data packets using the Wireshark, if we find some X other than X, some other characters also transmitted, which means some other malware functions or malware applications are giving or inserting some other data from our computer, residing in our computer, and sending the data as a spy data to the remote user. This is what we have to understand. Then we can easily find out, since this is a test data, we can immediately, for this particular input, what they are sending. So we know who is going to be the recipient. So we know that destination IP also. Other than the destination IP, intended destination IP, if you receive any other IP, if you receive the messages or data packets from any other IP, we can easily understand this is not our original IP, I mean the recipient IP. Somebody else is giving the details to our computer. So from which IP it is coming, we can easily identify from the data capturing tool. From which IP the malware details or malware data or malware question is posted. Easily we can identify. If you understand this is the IP, so IP address normally is IP address is normally based on the geographical location. From the IP we can easily identify who is giving this particular message or the particular mal transaction to this computer. This is how we have to understand or we have to troubleshoot the problem or the intruders. Next. The same thing is this is capture a traffic. We have captured a traffic for for our college. This is what the basic HTTP. From this we are sending the message and capturing the detail. So in our network we have applied this tool and we are receiving this address. So for your network you can also use the tool for sending and receiving the data packets. If you receive other than the sending data, if you receive something else, we can find out somebody else is there in between you and me to insert and read our data packet. Some spying software, malware software are available. This is the understanding. So next. Filter between traffic, between the host, we can only the IPs, the transfer IP, I mean the source IP, destination IP, only we can easily capture. These are all filters only. So the filters, like our Excel sheet, we can give input IP addresses equal to, you know your input IP and the destination IP also you know. There is a IP and the destination IP is this much. So this particular window gives the information for particular source to particular destination. Even though you run many number of applications from your system, this particular screen fetches you only the particular destination transaction. So this particular IP address is source is 172.16.100.11 and the destination is same 172.16.100.12 normal 12. So in between these two systems, what are all the different versions, different transactions going on, we can easily sort out by using this particular. So this is the port mirror concept. Already I have shown the same window, but in different place. In this place I show but here now we are in the recipient side. So wherever the port mirror is applicable or enabled, we can use this software. This is what I want to say. This is fourth filter examination for TCP and HTTP only from this particular source. Only from this particular source. IP address is 192.168.102.101.253. Only from this, how many number of happenings. So in between, whenever I explain this, only this much I have to see, but remaining all many number of other IP addresses also available. So we have to check what are these we have to find out. So this protocol is actually TCP and HTTP also in place. Hello. Any questions? Somebody trying to unmute? Okay. I can move to the next. This is next statistics conversation. The total conversation between for a certain period we can easily calculate. In IPv4, there are two versions in IP. All of you know this. There are two versions in IP packaging, IP protocol, version 4 and version 6. The length of the address is different. So IPv4, TCP 79 port ID, UDP 23, that is port ID or port number. The connectivity is Ethernet. There are four number of in this particular mission, they have used four number of Ethernet. So this is fourth connectivity. Ethernet fourth connectivity. So this is what the total screen we can. This is actually a comma separated file, or we can call it a CSV file. The CSV file can be easily manipulated in our Excel sheet. This is what the transformation or importing, exporting the CSV file into your Excel sheet. So by capturing the data, we can, for our analysis purpose, suppose if you want to do some other analysis or want to do any data science work, I mean the prediction work or data analytics work, we can easily use this data into your Excel sheet or any other domain. Whenever you copy the data into your Excel sheet, all these things are possible. So I can move to this another statistics conversation. This is also this is the entire this is a snippet given a particular transaction in this internet router. Up to you how quickly you are learning this software and how you use this customize this software for your own purpose. So without this will give the this particular software will give all the details. It is applicable for all the protocols, but which protocol you are going to concentrate, that is your ideology. That is your principle, or you whatever you want, you have to configure yourself. Your filters must be in such a way it should be filter the data. The use of this particular software is it will capture the data in all protocols, but whatever we want, we have to filter it out. This is what the output IO graph for this particular, the IO graph is given like this. These graphs are normally, you would have seen these kind of graphs in computer graphics or computer networks or wireless networks based journals. So the same graph is, this is not simulated output, this is actual output. In the live transaction computer networks, we have used it and draw the screen. So IO graph is given here in the real time. This is not simulated screen. So this kind of experimentation we can do. Next is saving and manipulating the files. This is the very basic, whether we can export into any type of CSV file or XLS file, we can export the data. For a specific TCP stream. So try to understand, transmission control protocol is common for all the applications, but for specific stream, say I have opened many number of tabs in my Chrome browser, internet browser. So I want to analyze the data from only my particular tab. Particular tab in the sense I am doing the booking in our railway site IRCTC, or I may be transacting with my bankers. So if you want to capture that data only, if you know your IP very well, the other IP, the other end IP must be known to you. Only then you can easily understand what is going on here. This is actually for a specific TCP stream. Normally we can identify the specific stream by by knowing the address of the port. By address of the port or number of the port, we can easily identify this is. So only in particular, suppose a particular session is started, the communication between the two machines only by this particular port. It will not be left for using somebody else. So this port will be dedicated for this particular service until the transaction is completed. So till then you have to wait. Suppose if you want to use the same port for some other purpose, you have to wait till the completion, till the transaction is completed. Otherwise, we cannot use the port again and again. So by fixing the port or by seeing the particular port, we can easily identify this is for particular TCP stream. So this is the screen for that. This is colorizing is for our purpose only. There is no meaning of colorizing. From this, I want to show a flow graph. That's what I want to. So I am now trying. See this. This is the. This diagram will be drawn. It is not drawn by us. It is this diagram is given by this Wireshark. This is actually called as the 212.143.160. This is actually the server address. This may be the client address. One of the client connected with this particular server. So this is the client. This is the server. So frame is 555. Sequence number is 725. Acknowledgement. Those who are understanding the TCP concept, you can easily understand what is this. Based on the sequence number, this is the time round trip time or round timeout. This is RTO. RTO is given for 0.4525 seconds only within this period. This is timeout period. Suppose for the first data, if you receive after this period, it will be retransmitted automatically. That's what is given in this particular. Retransmitted will be started if we are not receiving the acknowledgement for the transmitted packet within the short span of time. That span of time is actually termed as timeout period. This is the drawing. So these kind of drawings are highly appreciated in our thesis as well as in our papers. This is next is actually a duplicate acknowledgement. Duplicate is one again and again. If you receive the same acknowledgement, which means the previous packets was that particular packet was received, remaining packets are not received properly. The subsequent packets are not received properly. Whenever we get the duplicate packet, according to the strategy we used in our DCP, we need to retransmit the signal, the data once again. That is the meaning of duplicate packets. So in two places, according to this particular, all these are all given for this particular, what is retransmission. For this input, for this data capture, we are giving the diagram. First diagram is, this is the first diagram. This diagram is giving you all the details. Here the timeout, that is why there is a timeout period or timeout session. So retransmission is happening. Whereas here it receives the duplicate acknowledgement. If you look at this, acknowledgement is 3105, second acknowledgement is 3105, again acknowledgement is 3105. So 3105 acknowledgement is received two times, which means there is a problem in the reception, so we have to retransmit it here. Next is the TCP stream graph can be easily, TCP stream, you go to your statistics menu item, you can look at that menu, sub-menu item TCP stream graph. Here you can find out round trip time graph, throughput graph, time sequence graph, time sequence graph. This is for, there are two types, TCP trace and Stevens trace. There are two types. So two graphs we can, totally four graphs we can draw by using this. This is once again the instrumentation, experimentation results, not the simulated results. So these graphs will be useful. This is actually called as Stevens time sequence graph. From this you can understand time in the x-axis, sequence number in the y-axis. So we can, there is a gradual, I mean linear variance between the two items, time and sequence number. Next is, this is the stable performance of the file transfer. The connectivity is stable immediately without any rate transmission. It will go back and forth. The acknowledgement will be given. It is when it is received, the next packet will be delivered. Something like this, it will be go on without any interruption. This is normally called a stable performance of this particular file transfer. Next is non-stable. Whenever we say non-stable, the retransmission normally, whenever there is a retransmission occurs, whenever there is a duplicate acknowledgement, that is actually called as non-stable performance of file transfer. Then this is my case study 1. All you are sleeping or all you are available in the class? Nobody.
So proceed, sir.
Yes, we are available.
Yes, we are available. Yes, the reason is I felt a little bit difficult because you are not answering. If it is a classroom, physical classroom, I can understand. You are something, you are listening to me, or you are asking, listening, understanding, something like that. Since it is a online class, I don't know whether you are understanding, my internet connection is good or not, whether you are receiving my audio properly. All these are all my questions. That's why I asked you. Next thing else. So remote offices, these are all different strategies. So actually the FDP is, current FDP is IoT for smart grids. And the topic is for EEE department, electrical engineering, high voltage engineering department. But the strategy or the technology used for this particular terminology, smart grid, is actually Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is not a permanent asset of computer science or information technology. Without computer networks, without computer knowledge, no other departments. Even without knowing IoT, mechanical engineering, civil engineering students also cannot survive at present. This is the condition now. So with this introduction only, I started morning session. Now I come to this different case studies I want to show you where we can apply our software, this Wireshark software. These softwares are normally this particular software is since it is a open source software, everybody can easily download, install, and use. This software is totally user friendly software. In across the network, in any point of your network, it may be a local area network, wide area network, or any personal area network, private what we call private LANs or local area private wide area networks. Everywhere we can use this particular software. The only problem is we can easily find out the strategy of firewalls also. This is normally the software used by cybercrime people to identify the what we call mal transaction within the network, either by somebody. There are different strategies. Say for example, there is the simplest version of including. There is a software like a keylogger. Keylogger is a software. Normally, it's a very familiar software. To whatever you type in your keyboard, if the keylogger is installed in your system knowingly or unknowingly, it will give whatever you type in your system. It will give a copy to the user. I mean vendor. Those who are giving this particular keylogger software intentionally, those people will receive whatever you type in your keyboard. This is called as keylogger. So keylogger is separate application. This keylogger application will transmit the data across the network only. Without the network, they cannot transmit the data to any point. So if you understand the work of this Wireshark, we can easily find out by sending a known packet. This is the total message. I know very well. I am sending it in this network from my computer. Then in remote place, I am detecting the same data packet and analyzing what are all the data available in the packet. If my data alone available, your system is good, the network is good, no intrusion at all. Suppose whenever you interrupt this data packet and getting the data, going through it, if you find some other extra data, definitely there must be some malware in your system or in the network. This is what the basic idea. So this software is much useful to find out those kind of intruders in the network. Even in the smart grids, we are using computer networks. The supply is high voltage supply, but the network which connects or gives the connectivity between the nodes, or we can call it as many kind of nodes are available. Not only the energy meters in the smart grid, even the smart transformers are at present available. The entire condition, even including the temperature, the health parameters of the transformers are normally transmitted over the computer networks. So at each and every point of time, we can easily identify what is the transformer temperature, what is the input voltage, output voltage, what is the input current, output current, power factor, everything we can calculate in the smart grid at any point of time using the computer networks. So in this computer networks, in the sense by using IoT devices only. IoT is sensor-based network. So IoT is getting connected. Different IoT devices are getting connected or speak within themselves using the internet connectivity. So whenever you use the third-party internet connectivity, nobody knows how good the connectivity is. Is there any vulnerable intruders within the network? Nobody knows. So the software, the purpose of this software is to find out what is the vulnerability, the available vulnerability within the network. Unsafe. Vulnerability means, literally speaking, about unsafe. How the data is safely transmitted, or whether this network is safe or unsafe. We can easily identify by using this software. Suppose if you feel unsafe, who is giving this data? We cannot identify by name. We can identify by IP address. We can easily identify the IP address, who is giving the data, or those who are fetching the data. Easily we can identify. If you understand this is the IP, intruder IP, we can stop them at least. We can stop them from intruding, or we can easily trace it out. Who is the particular IP? Who is the owner of this IP? We can find it out. That is the prime duty of the crime people, police crime, internet crime, or we can call it cyber crime people. So they are doing using this kind of softwares only. This is one of the softwares. I cannot say this is the only software, but this is one of the softwares available in the market. So this is the remote offices become very so. Some places, suppose whenever you use a ping statement, you may be getting the response within a second, 1 second or 1 millisecond will be receiving. Sometimes it will be timing out. Even after 1024 milliseconds, or we can call it as even for a second, if you are not receiving the response, automatically this is called as timeout period. So timeout is once timeout occurs, we have to retransmit, the ping will be coming out. This normally happens. So what is the reason for this delay? Suppose the prime office, I am sending the data, but the data, we both are not so much of physically not separated for long distance. Only you see a single kind of network. Or I can say homogeneous network is in between us, no heterogeneous network. So even in those conditions, heterogeneous networks only will give a lot of time delay. Whereas in the homogeneous network, we cannot expect that much of time. Immediately we can get the result set. But even though if you are not getting the result, something is fishy. Somebody else, some malware worms are available within the network. Worms are nothing but again the programs are some version of the coding. It will normally they are on these kind of worms are written in Visual C++ using the socket programming. So the TCP is getting slowed down by using by these intruders. So during this process, what they will do is by slowing down this your TCP, they can easily fetch the data. The data fetching is, so suppose you are doing a transaction in your banking domain. Normally the bankers at present, the bankers are using 128-bit algorithm. All of you know this. There are different kind of algorithms or the securities, or we can call it as cryptography, AES algorithm, DES algorithm, all this. With the latest AES algorithm, we are using some 256 key. It's a private key, public key we are using. These kind of so along with this key, if you send this, the attackers will take few seconds time to attack and find out what type of key they are using. So when you slow down this TCP, the intruders will get some time to attack on this strip. So that is the aim, to slow down this TCP stream. So this is also, we can easily find out. This is again the same capturing, data capturing using Wireshark. This is source, this is destination. The protocol is Internet Control Message Protocol, ICMP. So echo is given. Echo means whenever we send, whenever we ping the remote server or remote client, it will give me some result. That is called as echo. So echo is not, the time period between the ping and echo is normally giving us the speed of or the throughput of. This is one of the parameters to identify the quality of service, QoS of the computer network. So this is what the basic mechanism. Please try to understand. I am going a little faster only, I know. Because this is the last session, I got to complete within this. That's why I am going a little faster. Next is, so previous one. Okay. This is case study 1. The why remote offices are very slow. Using IPv4 version. This is the data. We can ping worm attack. This is capturing data, captured data. This data can be easily converted into Excel. This data can be easily converted into Excel. This is the case study 2. Suppose the problem is in the server. We are the client, but even though very few number of users or very few number of clients are trying to reach the server, the time period is, or the time consumption is maximum. We can easily find out using TCP and HTTP. TCP is the transmission control, so easily we can find out this is the mechanism which transports our data packets with the server, and HTTP is normally all of you knowing this HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. Within the system, it is transferring the data packets. So with this idea, if you go to the next one, this is the first case study. Second case study is getting over. So we can find, analyzing the TCP and HTTP alone, we can easily find out where the problem is. Where the timestamp is given here, the transmission time and receiving time. If you subtract these two times in your Excel sheet, we can find out where the problem is, where the maximum time is consumed. We can find it out. We can easily troubleshoot or pinpoint this is the problem. This is the place of problem. So what is happening in the inside the network? We have to identify. Either in the hub or in the switch or the router. We have to find out the problem. This is a tool to find out or to troubleshoot the problem. Next is actually case study 3. This is for frame relay FR connection. Frame relay network. In frame relay also, this particular software is giving the output very properly. The server is 10.1.1.7. The remote is 10.2.1.105. These two are getting connected through the frame relay network. Now we can use the software here also, but port mirroring must be enabled. All of this. This is actually called as slow DB response. DB nothing but database. For the slow DB response, we are identifying here. In between these two data packets, 40 milliseconds delay. If you consider this, even though the thing 40 milliseconds is negligible, but in the computer networks, microseconds are normal, milliseconds are high delay. So 40 milliseconds is very big delay. So we can easily add more packets, 2000 plus since the beginning of connection. Many number of packets have been added in this. So we are sending very few number of packets, but many number of different packets have been added in this data stream. That is why the delay is happening. So how to eradicate the remaining packets, the extra packets, how to eradicate, we have to find out the solution. So we can identify where the exact time delay is. This is the use of this particular software. It will not give you the problem solution. It will the software uses only to identify the place where the problem happens. We have to find out the alternate methods to eradicate the problem. Next is another slow application case for. This is also slow application. I will share the screen to you, I mean the PPT to you, so that you can also go through again. This application is very slow application. This graph is actually again Stevens graph between time and throughput. The maximum. This is also again a Stevens graph. Like throughput is very low. Throughput is nothing but like efficiency, output by input only. But here we have to calculate the computer network, so we cannot say which is input, which is output. We cannot measure, but throughput is the correct term to explain these characteristics. Next is example for the same thing. For in some other version, using the capture, we can do this. This is what the application does. Case 5 again. Application will do. It will. The main problem according to this is for the 50 case study. When you open any session, it must be properly closed. Please try to understand. Say I have opened the port number 21 for the transaction. I am not opening voluntarily. User cannot know what is happening inside. Our application should open a particular session by binding a port. Say for example, I am taking a FDP port 21. If the transaction is completed, it must be released. The port number 21 must be released properly. Otherwise, it will be dedicated only for that connection. No other ports will be available for the transaction in the server side. The problem I am identifying now. Using the Wireshark, I found out the problem is in the server side. The problem is actually using the socket programming. Some socket or socket is nothing but a port only. The port is used for particular purpose. Once the purpose is completed, that port must be released from that purpose, so that the same port can be used by some other applications. Otherwise, what will happen is if there are some certain number of ports only available in our physical layer, not many number of ports. So if all the ports are completed, the n plus, there are n number of ports. Suppose if there is a n plus 1 request, we cannot cater the n plus 1 request because all the ports are already occupied. So whenever you complete the transaction, immediately the software must be releasing that particular port. If the releasing is not done properly, then this problem will be happening. I mean, slow down in the server side. So our coding must be verified again and again, so that this is not a end user problem. Actually, the only advanced user or any other system developers can do this. Or this voluntarily some application may be slowing down our server side also. These applications are normally called as malware applications. This is what the reason. And now I can move to this next application. All these observation we can go with like this. This is expert info composite source. This is case 5 study I have shown you. This is FTP over cellular connection. In cellular connection also the same thing we can identify, but the pictorially shown. The dial-up network monitor, there is an option in your screen itself, I mean statistics menu item itself. Whenever you select any particular data packet, if you press this dial-up network monitor, it will give the transaction going back and forth. Receiver idle, sender idle, receiver is busy, sender is busy. If you look at the screen, you can see this receiver colon idle, send colon idle, all this. Whenever the receiver and sender is idle, we can start transferring the content. When they are busy, we cannot do anything with that. So this is the basic mechanism, transaction mechanism. Once if you complete your installation, only that we can do all these things. One second, I'm coming back. I'm coming now. Wait a second. Look at the screen. I will share this PPT also to you. And this is actually for especially those who are not those who have not completed your work, PhD work. This is a good experimentation tool. You can make use of this tool instead of the simulation. We can use this software. Very simplest version. Now with this, I have completed. I think so. If you have any queries, please ask me. Otherwise, I can summarize and conclude the session. Participants, I am asking you only. If you have any query, you can ask me now. The time is for questions. Right, I hope you understood the concept. I can summarize the content. Basically, Wireshark is a network analyzing tool. I mean, protocol analyzing tool. The network it's not a two-port network. It is computer networks, maybe of anything. It may be wired local area network, or wireless network, or MANET, something like this. Any network, by using this software, we can analyze, we can troubleshoot. IoTs are normally using the internet, so computer network concept 100% applicable here. Whatever may be your application, maybe a smart grid application or any other industrial IoT applications, you have to use this kind of networks only, computer networks only. The mode may be different. Maybe you may be using the wired network connectivity or wireless network connectivity, whatever it is. We have to do this analysis. Whenever there is a problem, we have to troubleshoot our network. Otherwise, your data will be gone. Problem is actually many number of intruders are available in the market to get your data. Data is at present, information is wealth. So all your data is normally equivalent of money only. The data will be given to somebody else. Even your whenever you see I'll say something to you. Say for example, whenever you purchase a SIM card for your mobile phone, you are giving some proof, address proof. It may be Aadhaar card or any other ration card or voter ID, something like this. We are giving as the ID proof. You you give your Aadhaar card number, voter ID number, and ration card. If it is a ration card of e version, I mean SIM based ration card. If you give those numbers to TRAI, they'll be giving you a list how many number of SIM cards in your name. And I done this work actually. I am using only 4 number of SIMs in my lifetime. So far, I have purchased only 4 number of SIM cards. I know, but I have given these cards, the Aadhaar number, everything to the shop, petty shop, to get the SIM cards. But 2 years back, I given these numbers, all my ID proof numbers to try, and I asked how many number of connections is it? I astonished in my name across India, 27 number of connections were there, including my 4 numbers. Other 23 numbers have been allotted in my name. Suppose if anything happens using my SIM, I mean that SIM issued in my name, somebody else is using the SIM in my name. Suppose if you use those SIMs for some other purpose, some illegal or some what we call Naxal purpose, what will happen? So this is actually data theft. No other way. We have to truncate this. So immediately I give them through my advocate. I give a petition to try only accept these 4 numbers. You eradicate all other numbers. Immediately they have stopped everything except my 4 numbers. I have given a what we call affidavit. I didn't purchase any such SIM cards like this through the court. Then they stopped at 23 number of what we call the SIM cards. This is what happened. So like this, what will happen is not only your data, your Aadhaar number may be available with everybody. Definitely everybody. Even if you find out that how many number of SIM cards or how many number of other services available in your name, nobody knows. Even in your IRCTC website in your name, somebody else may be booked. Many number of travel agents are there like this, and this is quite possible. Even though they are using the banking domains, even though they are using many number of what we call many different strategies for the safety, two-tier sorry, power cut in my place. That's what now I am joining again through my mobile. This is what happened. So all of you, please be aware of all these kind of data security problems. So by using this tool, you can do your research as well as you can do a lot of works in your area of either you can take smart grid as the application or industrial IoT as the application. Wherever you go, definitely this session will be much useful to you. So with this, I complete my session. If you have any doubts, I shared you the last slide. I will share now. Now system is getting booted, and you can send the emails to me in this email ID. Now I will share you. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from the audience? Any questions from the audience? Okay.
Sir, if there's no questions, we can wind up the session, sir.
Okay, we can
Sir, shall
wind
we
up
wind
the
up, sir?
session right now, sir.
Thank you, sir, for
You can wind up,
the
sir.
question
No issues.
session. I
Thank
hope
you,
you benefited the participants.
Okay, okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, the committee say something, sir.
Sir?
Sir, you told something.
No.
Shall we stop here?
Thanks to all the participants. If at all, if you require any more details regarding this Wireshark, you can always communicate to me. My email ID is in the this PPT will be shared by these ATAL organizers, FDP organizers to you. In the last slide, I have shared my email ID. It will be much useful to you. Thank you so much for your valuable
Thank you, sir.
participation. Thank you, sir.
So we'll start the validity section in another 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you. Please join the validity section.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.